First, the answer was A, decomposer. The term detrivore includes decomposer. Now this is a typical food diagram, food chain I have shown here with respect to the different trophic levels. So first trophic level, that is primary producers, which includes your plants, algae, etc., cyanobacteria, which by use of sunlight they photosynthesis and they produce the food that is being consumed by primary consumers like grasshopper. यहाँ पे एक figure diagram में है grasshopper, that is primary consumer, or you can say cattles. Secondary consumers, the variety of secondary consumers which are dependent on the primary consumers like carnivores, that is a carnivore. And tertiary, again it is a carnivore, it may be a large predator. So this is a typical food diagram. So answer is decomposer. And after the death of secondary consumer or primary consumer, that dead decaying material need to be recycled, and that is the role played by detrivores, that is the bacteria, fungi, etc. So decomposer, detrivore. Net primary productivity is the gross primary productivity less the option is which is consumed by producer in metabolism. So net productivity NP, it is given by the short notation NP is equal to GP minus energy required for metabolism by the organism. Which of the following does not contribute to the species diversity of the tropics? The option is spatial homogeneity. Spatial. With respect to the space, it should be heterogeneous. Tropics में सबसे ज़्यादा heterogeneous होता है population. So it is not homogeneity, it is heterogeneity. इसलिए वो odd man out था वो वहाँ से. बाकी का सब कुछ है, predictability, predation, high productivity. These are the characteristics of the tropics. But the characteristics, that is spatial homogeneity, is not a characteristics. Homogeneity यानी एक जैसा type का population वहाँ पे अगर आपको दिख रहा है, that is homogeneity. तो वो tropics में नहीं होता है. Predictability, predation, this is a part of the food chain and the ecosystem. You have to read. Now these are the questions, basic ecology. For this you can refer any basic ecology book, that will help you. Okay. The major reservoir of phosphorus, soil and rocks. So you should know about the biogeographical cycles, biogeographical cycles, etc. About the earth. The accumulation of herbivore biomass in an ecosystem is an example of secondary productivity. The pyramid which is never inverted, that is pyramid of energy. Pyramid of energy. It is never in inverted shape. अभी pyramid का shape कैसा होता है? Triangle like. From the base it is flattened, and as you move off it goes on tapering, that is conical shape. तो ऐसा typical shapes बाकी के सभी pyramid of number, pyramid of biomass. But in case of the pyramid of energy, it remains like that only. In case of the biomass, it may be inverted, particularly in aquatic ecosystem. उल्टा pyramid, यानी base ज़्यादा, tapering नीचे. तो ये aquatic ecosystem में ज़्यादातर देखा जाता है. Just see. This is the example of the energy, that is from the sun's light, the energy, how it is being consumed, how much amount of the energy that is being transferred from one tropic level to second tropic. कुछ प्रॉब्लम है? हाँ, यहाँ पे कोई बोल रहा था. नंबर में उल्टा डेट्रीवोरस, खास करके एक्वाटिक सिस्टम में डेट्रीवोर ये जो सिस्टम है वो इन्वर्टेड हो सकता है, एक्वाटिक इकोसिस्टम, ठीक है, वहां पे ही सिर्फ इन्वर्टेड मिलता है। नंबर ऑफ पिरामिड नंबर इन केस ऑफ पिरामिड नंबर, ओके, बट द रेस्ट ऑफ द अदर इट इज ऑलवेज स्टेट. So transfer of energy in case of the joules, it is given in the joules. You can remember also how much quantity of the sunlight that is been transferred to the primary producers. 10%, straight away calculation. Which of the following oak tree parasite is the answer? Oak tree parasite. Because it grows on the plant, that is primary producer. The rest of autotroph नहीं हो सकता, horse parasite नहीं हो सकता, wolf नहीं हो सकता. The earth is an open system with respect to energy. कुछ क्वेश्चंस है ना एग्जाम में, कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम में आपको कंफ्यूज करने के लिए होते हैं जानबूझ के, तो थोड़ा सा अपना लॉजिक स्टेबल कर देने का और देख लेने का क्या हो सकता है. सो आंसर इज एनर्जी. और थर्मोडायनामिक्स के आप इतने सारे लॉज वो सब पढ़ते हो, तो वहां का थोड़ा सा लॉजिक यहाँ पे अप्लाई कर दो. इकोसिस्टम इज नथिंग बट अ सिस्टम. सो एनर्जी. कार्बन which enters into the living organism primarily from the atmosphere rather than the rocks and soil. Which of the following communities is the most productive? Tropical forest. Now why it is most productive, etc., I will show you one of the diagram. It relates with the availability of sunlight and the latitude, and this is the temperature, that is temperature reflects with the availability of sunlight, and annual rainfall in centimeter. Annual mean rainfall. So as the temperature increases, you can see the more amount of light is available, and that regard to that tropical forest, and there the annual rainfall is also very high. So because of that, the essential components which is required for the life to begin is more. Sunlight चाहिए, पानी चाहिए. ये दो चीजें मोस्ट प्रोमिनेंट फैक्टर्स अवेलेबल होते हैं ट्रॉपिक्स में, इसलिए वहां पे प्रोडक्टिविटी ज्यादा है. The total amount of energy that is converted to organic compounds, it is gross primary productivity. Okay. Which tropic level is incorrectly defined? Omnivores. Because the examples which are given in the omnivores, like molds, yeast and mushrooms, they are the decomposers. They grow on dead decaying organic matter. They don't grow on the grasses or the trees, etc. They grow on decaying. That's why it is wrong fitted. All the of this, which is the not a characteristic, that is increased binding capacity of hemoglobin. Increase binding capacity of hemoglobin. Increase breathing rate. आप हाई अल्टीट्यूड पे जाते हो या आप खुद ही महसूस कर सकते हो. इंक्रीज इरिथ्रोसाइट प्रोडक्शन. यस, आरबीसी सेल ज्यादा बनता है. जैसे आप हाई अल्टीट्यूड पे जाते हो तो आरबीसी ज्यादा बनते हैं. दैट इज द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स. Increased density of mitochondria, capillary and muscle myoglobin. ये स्ट्रेंथ के वजह से वहां पे इंक्रीज होता है. ये की कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स है. बाइंडिंग कैपेसिटी हीमोग्लोबिन का चेंज नहीं होता, जितना है उतना सेम रहता है. Biomes have all of the characteristics listed below except they don't have uniform habitats. They don't have uniform habitats. Whereas the others they include large area. हाँ होता है बायोम के लिए. a characteristic appearance, yes, typical tundra, taiga, ये characteristics appearance. जैसे कि if you talk about the taiga, there the most of the time the soil is been covered with the ice, the water is frozen. A common climate, yes, जो मैंने बात किया, but it is not uniform habitat. The trees may vary with respect to those biomes. Which of the following terms includes all of the others? Biosphere at the larger stage. Where are the others? They may be a part of the biosphere. So you can see this is a particular how our organization we look. Atom, molecule, cell, organism, population. That is the individuals of the same community. Then community, ecosystem, biosphere. This is the hierarchy. The deep water areas of open ocean are called abyssal zone. This is the, you can give a look to this slide also. What are the zonations observed in aquatic ecosystem? Zonations observed. This is a typical zonation. Benthic region किसको बोलते हैं? Neritic zone कहाँ पे बोलता है? Intertidal zone किसको बोलते हैं? Oceanic zone, photic zone and aphotic zone. Aphotic zone where the light does not penetrate. The climate of particular region is influenced by its solar radiation and latitude. Just with respect to the other tropic levels, equator के पास tropical forest क्यों होता है ज़्यादा? The reason, availability of sunlight. Direct sunlight is available to the equator region, whereas if you move towards Tropic of Cancer or Tropic of Capricorn, the availability of sunlight decreases, and because of that, most of the time the temperature is low at the poles, very low. तो यहाँ पे आपको सबसे ज़्यादा productivity मिलता है. Monsoon, that is the characteristics of India and South Asia. Where would you find coral reefs? Neritic zone. इसलिए मैंने आपको previous slide को थोड़ा सा देखने के लिए बोला था. What is neritic zone? Near to the intertidal zone. So there you can see the coral reefs, and this is the diagrammatic presentation of the one example of coral reefs where the corals are available. At least 40% of all photosynthesis in the world is carried out by photosynthetic planktons. Photosynthetic planktons. And at the right side, the figure which I have shown you is the carbon cycle that takes place in the atmosphere. The earth radiates heat back to the space in the form of long wave radiation. The deepest part of the oceans are approximately 11 kilometers. It is reported the maximum depth of the ocean is 11 kilometer deep, maximum. हाँ तो उसको approximately 11 किलोमीटर है वो, 11 किलोमीटर और 11,000 मीटर्स. मीटर्स में वो फिगर शायद बड़ा दिखता है इसलिए याद रहते हैं, ये किलोमीटर में है. The tropical rainforest receives approximately 140 to 450 centimeter rainfall. Annual rainfall. Similarly, ये थोड़ा सा उल्टा डायग्राम ड्रॉ करके प्रेजेंट किया हुआ है, टेम्परेचर वर्सेस मीन रेनफॉल, and depending upon that you can see the different types of ecosystem or biomes observed. Which of the following is not a biome? Estuary. Estuary is not a biome, whereas the rest, they are the examples of biome. The most pervasive form of habitat disruption is clear-cutting forest. Clear-cutting forest means without bothering what type of plant you required actually in use, you remove all the plants from that area. That is called clear-cutting forest. So clear-cutting forest is the most dangerous form of, you can say, the habitat disruption, and particularly it is believed there are 8 million species of different plants and animals available on the earth. Out of that, hardly 1 to 2 million species have been identified. और बाकी का तो ऐसा है कि अब तक हुआ नहीं है. तो उसमें से due to the clear cutting, one example was the taxol. There was one plant, due to the clear cutting, later on they identified the plant was responsible, you can say the West plant, not used for the timber but other, during the entire forest clearing, they cut all the plants. So there was one plant which used to produce taxol. Later on it was identified it is a good anti-cancerous property. तो अगर कंटिन्यूअस क्लियर कटिंग होता तो पूरा का पूरा प्लांट के बारे में हमें पता भी नहीं चलता. सो दिस इज द एग्जांपल, दैट इज क्लियर कटिंग फॉरेस्ट. एनवायरमेंट मोस्ट वनरेबल टू द पोल्यूशन इज द एक्वाटिक. ठीक है, इसके लिए कोई डाउट नहीं होगा. क्या है डाउट? क्योंकि अपना आदत है, अपना यानी ह्यूमन रेस, whatever we do, ultimately we throw in rivers, oceans, etc. That is waste. कुछ भी हो. So that has been most polluted aquatic zone. The major cause of loss of number of migratory birds is due to the fragmentation and loss of habitat. Fragmentation and loss of habitat. And the pictorial view, how the fragmentation takes place, are given on the right side. Earlier the area was very large. Area under that particular habitat was very large, and due to the construction of the roads in between the forests or dams, etc., the habitat got fragmented. And due to the fragmentation, that affects on the ecosystem, that is the migratory birds पे भी affect होता है. तो major cause है fragmentation or loss of habitat. Scientists studying migratory birds measured, this was a little bit, since we are more concerned with the radioactivity, etc., so your brain will be focused on particular, but it is nothing to do with that. It is just to study the nutritive, what type of nutrition the birds have. So the option C, the quality of the food in their winter habitat. Just to study the quality of food, what type of food they eat during their winter habitat, that's it. The value of biodiversity falls into the categories of, there are 4 categories of values of biodiversity: direct economic, indirect economic, aesthetic, and ethical. These are the values. One of the example of ethical or aesthetic I will just give you. We practice biodiversity conservation from ancient time. Do you believe this statement? Example was, when girl get married during earlier period, she used to be given a tulsi plant. That was the symbol of biodiversity conservation. Practice, ethics आप बोल सकते हो. एस्थेटिक, आप अपना सराउंडिंग गार्डन बनाते हो, ब्यूटिफिकेशन करते हो. सेम वे गार्डन, जो कम्युनिटी गार्डन बोल सकते हो. बट द सीक्वेंस कम्स फ्रॉम डायरेक्ट इकोनॉमिक वैल्यू. व्हाट a forest directly gives to you? Firewood, wood which has been used for the most of the article, paper manufacture, etc. So that is direct value. Indirect value, उससे हमें क्या बेनिफिट होता है? स्टडी पर्पस, वी गो एंड स्टडी, सो दैट इज इनडायरेक्ट वैल्यू. Aesthetic beautification, and last is the ethical. A Gauss principle of competitive exclusion is essential, that is, no two species can occupy the same niche indefinitely when the resources are limited. दो ऑर्गेनिज्म, दो स्पीसीज एक ही niche कभी भी ऑक्युपाई नहीं कर सकते एक when the resources, that is food, availability of the food is limited. A barnacle grows on the well doing no harm is the example of commensalism. तो यहाँ पे relationships between the different animals you must know. कितने लोग इकोलॉजी बैकग्राउंड से आए हुए हैं? कितने लोग माइक्रोबायोलॉजी बैकग्राउंड से आए हो? माइक्रोबायोलॉजी, बाकी के बायोटेक्नोलॉजी, ओके, लाइफ साइंसेस, जनरल बायोकेमिस्ट्री. तो आपके लिए थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट पोर्शन रहेगा, लेकिन बाकी के लोगों के लिए आपने इंटरेक्शन, डिफरेंट इंटरेक्शन विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द बैक्टीरिया यू मस्ट हैव स्टडीड. तो सेम अप्लाइड here also on the larger scale. Large, that is prey and predator relationship is also one type of relationship that exists in nature. ठीक है? Commensalism, mutualism, parasitism, these are the interactions. Vitalism is just to survive by hook or a crook. These organisms, they may modify their structures, like bacteria. Again, I come to the example of bacteria. They produce the spores under the adverse condition, and when the normal or favorable condition appears, they grow. A lake rich in nutrients and species is classified as eutrophic, and the process is called eutrophication. But the problem of this eutrophication, particularly increase in the nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus, and due to the increase in these nutrients, the lake turns to be eutrophic, where the adverse effect, that less oxygen availability, the algal bloom. Which of the following helps prey species avoid being detected by predator? That is cryptic coloration. Cryptic, hide. Cryptic यानी hide. Hidden, तो खुद को hide कर लेता है with respect to the environment. That is cryptic coloration. सबसे common example मैं आपको बता रहा हूं, शायद आपने वो बर्ड का आवाज बहुत बार सुना होगा. ट्यू बर्ड. Have you heard this name, ट्यू bird? नहीं? उसके eggs देखना. The characteristic of this bird is it lays its eggs on the ground. Nest वो tree पे नहीं बनाता, ground पे बनाता है. हाँ. Have you seen the eggs? हाँ. It matches with the soil, stones. यानी predator को पता नहीं चलता कि वहां पे eggs हैं. That is the example. Okay. Cryptic coloration. The number of species in a community is referred to as species richness. Which of the following statement is true? A mature ecosystem has greater species richness, greater biomass, less net productivity than the younger stage of succession. This is the last option is correct. The remaining are wrong. जैसे कि पहला ही एग्जाम्पल, ऑलिगोट्रॉफिक लेक्स कंटेन मोर न्यूट्रिएंट्स देन यूट्रॉफिक. इसलिए कभी कभी है ना, थोड़ा सा प्रीवियस क्वेश्चन को भी ध्यान देना, आपको हिंट मिल जाएगा. आपको हिंट मिल जाएगा. सो दिस वाज द हिंट कि ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता. A number of non-related different kinds of stinging wasps have black and yellow striped abdomen and similar behavior. This is an example of Mullerian mimicry. This is D is the option correct. That is the Similpal, Orissa. Dehang Deban is in Arunachal Pradesh. Nokrek in Meghalaya and Kanchenjunga, Sikkim. The golden langur is naturally found in which of the wildlife sanctuaries? Answer is Manas. When a harmless species takes advantage by resembling the aposematic coloration of the other species that are toxic is called Batesian mimicry. Batesian mimicry. वो खुद को ऐसा बिहेव करता है कि मैं बहुत पॉइजनस जैसा हूं, बट एक्चुअली इन रियलिटी इट इज नॉट. Similar environment in different continents produce similar type of ecosystem. Species occupying similar ecological niche in such distant ecosystem are called ecological equivalents. And the example you can see, there is a frog species which is found in the Madagascar, has the same ecological niche as compared to the South America frog. And nowadays the more research is being carried out, more is the colored one, it is more dangerous. That is, it contains poison, and those poisons are explored for the anti-cancerous treatment. So you can see the equivalents, that is ecological equivalent species. The statistical study of population is called demography. Demography. And right side I have given you the figure of age structure. Depending upon the age, if you try to prepare a plot with respect to the pre-reproductive stage, how many number of young children, that is 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, or you can say up to 18, since 18 is considered to be a reproductive stage of a human being. So 18 onwards. So that 18 to late, let's say 45 to 50 is the reproductive age, and later on the post-reproductive age, that is older age, you can say. Now if you try to plot the number of population particularly falling into that category, a typical curve is observed. तो पहला है expanding population, that is with respect to India, China, India. तो पहला जो कर्व आता है वो अपने लिए है, जहां पे young population is more, stable population जहां पे state जैसा ही typical दिखता है, the younger ones or the reproductive ones and the later on, they are more or less same. तीसरा वाला कौन से कंट्री में दिखता है? यूरोप में नहीं, ऐसा नहीं, एक पर्टिकुलर चाइना में. थर्ड वाला डिमिनिशिंग पॉपुलेशन, जहां पे खतरा है कि द पॉपुलेशन ऑन द वर्ल्ड की वो खत्म ना हो जाए, ऐसा लोग सोच रहे हैं. अफ्रीकन कंट्री, अफ्रीकन कंट्री अपना पहला पार्ट में आता है. हाँ, दिस इज हाँ. See, as a whole country, it is a mixture of all human beings are present. Don't go on to the race or I would say a particular community, caste community, as a gender, इस पे मत जाओ, as a whole countries, नेदरलैंड, ओके, और जापान, जापान में तो ये है अभी थर्ड वाला, और कोई दूसरा कंट्री? Okay, you see the other examples also. There are many countries. Second step, normal young ones, that they manage their you can fecundity. Okay, fecundity is the age group, particularly that comes under reproductive ages. Reproductive ages which can able to reproduce. The number of people which now on the verge of reproduction, that is you. Example. बराबर है? Our strategies tend to have little parental care. Now this is deals with the survivor curve. You can see the typical example of survivorship curves which are being shown on the right side. So there are two strategies, one R and second is K. R and K, particularly these two are given more importance. And the curves which are observed with respect to the survivor curve shape, that is first type 1. कुछ बुक्स में आपको टाइप 1 और कुछ कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम में आपको डायरेक्टली पूछा जाता है टाइप 1, टाइप 2, टाइप 3. सो टाइप 1 इज द एग्जांपल ऑफ राइनो, ह्यूमन बीइंग्स, एलिफेंट्स, ठीक है, जहां पे ड्यूरिंग द अर्ली एज द डेथ रेट इज वेरी स्लो, बट इट इंक्रीज ऑन द latter, that is as the age progresses, that time the killing death, or you can say the mortality rate is more. Whereas the example of early loss, that is the large number of offsprings are produced but they are killed, hardly 1% survive. Particularly you can see the example of frogs, fishes, where they reproduce in millions, they produce some plants. So you have a concave shape, straight, type 2, constant loss. Birth rate is equal to death rate as a population, and because of that you have straight line. That is the example of birds, small birds particularly, not large. ठीक है, कुछ पॉइंट लिखना है तो लिख दिया आपने. एक खास करके ये ग्राफ याद रखना, क्योंकि ये ग्राफ पे भी सवाल पूछे जाते हैं. तो टाइप 1, टाइप 2, टाइप 3 सर्वाइवर. These are the some of the characteristics of R strategies and K strategies. You can see the R related strategies, which are also called Malthusian strategies, where the lifespan is very short. Example, एक दिन का भी हो सकता है, mosquito, flies, etc. Rapid growth, ज्यादा eggs और ज्यादा population वो प्रोड्यूस करता है, लेकिन सर्वाइवर कम. Early maturity, the human beings achieve the maturity at the age of 18 years. Whereas these flies or some animals, they achieve the maturity quickly. So many small offsprings at a time, they give more offsprings, like your rodent. Example, rodent, उनका नंबर, offspring का नंबर ज्यादा होता है. Little parental care, उनको parental, जैसे आप लोग खुद ही अपना एक एग्जाम्पल देखो, we are under control, continuous parental care. Same way elephants, वो parental care ज्यादा है, तो ऐसे characteristics. Okay, the number of individuals that particular place can support indefinitely is called carrying capacity. Is called carrying capacity. Now the one example I will just like to quote over here, since most of you are from the biological background, ecology के तो कोई है ही नहीं है, अपना normally lab का experiment where we do the growth curve of bacteria, growth curve. So we get a typical lag, log, stationary, decline. Now if you want to continuously make this log phase to go on as long as possible, what you will do? You add the feeds, you will add the nutrients. So the availability of the nutrients, that support, that is nothing but carrying capacity. That is nothing but carrying capacity. Okay, so you have increased the carrying capacity. So as long as the nutrients, resources are available, the organism continues to reproduce. When members of a population move out of a given area, it is called immigration. थोड़ा सा यहाँ पे कंफ्यूजन होता है I और E में. I is from outside to inside, from inside to out, that is immigration. So you can see a typical example that has been shown how it is related with the density or population number, that is birth, population size of that particular species. Some are killed, that is mortality. Some move in, that is immigration. Some move out, that is immigration. If the life history pattern for a species is to reproduce once and then die, it is called seminal parity. Seminal parity, where only once in the lifetime the organism reproduces. That's it, and it gets killed. Death है, next उसका phase है death. कोई example जानता है ऐसा? हाँ? Praying mantis. Okay. नहीं ऐसा नहीं, लेकिन that mantis may be female may be reproducing many times. हर एक season में reproduce होती हो. Here the spiders only once in the lifetime. See, only once. Huh? उसके बाद उसका डेथ है. प्लांट में एक एग्जांपल है, आपने देखा होगा कैक्टस का वैरायटी है वो एगेव. दूसरा एग्जांपल है बैम्बू. बैम्बू अगेव, 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 AGAVE. उसमें सिर्फ 10 या 15 साल में एक ही बार उसको इन्फ्लोरेसेंस आता है, और जैसे उसका इन्फ्लोरेसेंस हो गया, यानी नेक्स्ट प्रोजेनी के लिए जो सीड्स या आप बोल सकते हो वो तैयार हो गए, वो प्लांट डाई ऑफ हो जाता है. सेम इज द विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू द बैम्बू. बैम्बू में भी एक ही बार इन्फ्लोरेसेंस आता है, खलास. ठीक है, तो ऐसा एग्जांपल आप जो बोल रहे हो किलिंग का, द इंडिविजुअल मे बी एबल टू रिप्रोड्यूस, एंड दैट इज द अपोजिट ऑफ सिमिलर पैरिटी इज इटेरोपैरिटी. Opposite is heteroparity. Opposite is heteroparity. Limiting factor in temperate and boreal forest is sunlight. See, इकोलॉजी में अपने क्वेश्चन पेपर पूरा का पूरा अभी लास्ट तक हम जा रहे हैं. खास करके एक पॉइंट पे 2 से 3 क्वेश्चंस हो गए, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द टेम्परेचर, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ द दैट इज सनलाइट एंड द रेनफॉल. इट इज ऑल्सो द सेम. बोरियल वेयर द टेम्परेचर इज वेरी लो. बोरियल इज नथिंग बट द टाइगा, टाइगा बायोम और टाइगा फॉरेस्ट. बोरियल फॉरेस्ट या टाइगा फॉरेस्ट बोलते हैं उसको, जहां पे मैक्सिमम, नाउ व्हाई sunlight is not in those regions the sunlight is not available for longer period of time, hardly 4 to 5 hours, and maximum cold nights or winter nights. That is the situation, that is the climate. Diversity between the geographical areas within one overall large area is beta diversity. Alpha diversity, beta diversity within the genes, within the species, that is beta, okay, like that the diversity. In an ecosystem, fixed carbon has accumulated in the form of organic matter derived from dead plants and animals. Which of the following is the best explanation for this observation? First, decomposer activity is very low. And last, what is the keystone species? Is a species which makes up only a small proportion of the total biomass of a community. It has a huge impact on community organization. Okay. So these are some of the glimpses of ecology. Ecology needs to be continuously updated. See, and one more thing I have forgotten over here to mention the topic, current problems with respect to the environment, that also you need to study.